I'm delighted to be with Doug Seegers. Doug, how are you? Lovely to have you in London.
Yes, wonderful to be here. It's a nice sunny day. Is that unusual for London, the sun, or what?
Not at all, not at all. I've got a story to tell, and you've got a story to tell, so why don't you kick off with Down to the River?
Alrighty, thank you very much. And I know that he's not my friend. I've been falling by the wayside, living in this world of sin. I'm going down to the river, gonna wash my soul again. I'm going out to the country, gonna bury my head in a creek. I'm gonna jump in that water, baptize both of my feet. 'Cause everywhere I'm been walking, I've been getting in trouble deep. I'm going down to the river, gonna wash my soul again. I'm going down to the river, gonna wash my soul again. Or something like that.
Thank you, Doug. And that was a song that kind of started, life begins at 60, right?
62,
yeah. So the story is that you're on the streets of Nashville, and then this TV crew turned up, and all of a sudden you made an impact. So tell us about that first meeting.
Well, you know, the TV crew didn't just turn up. They actually came to Nashville to do a television show. The woman that I met, she has a television show in Sweden, a very popular show called Jill's Veranda. And she had called the people at the food pantry to ask the woman that runs the pantry, her name is Stacy Downey, and they asked her on the phone if she knew of any street musicians in town that they could come by and meet. And Stacy said, yeah, I have this one guy you'd really love to meet. So she was thinking of me, you know. And she saw that as an opportune moment to, you know, maybe get something going with my career. And I was kind of in a bad way at the time. You know, I was living out on the street and stuff, just doing a bunch of street singing for pocket change so I could eat, you know, and stuff like that. So I met her. I met this woman at the food pantry, and I played her that song, and she immediately fell in love with it. Put it in her television show, and then the miracle happened. It shot up to #1 on the Swedish iTunes in like a week's time. I didn't even think it was
But of course, your story goes way back to Austin. You've been a musician all your life. So tell us about those beginnings in Austin before you had a family, and what your influences were when you started playing.
Well, I grew up playing a musical family. My mother and father played country music, and so I was born into country music, listening to my parents' music, and had a bunch of country bands at a younger age. I was like maybe 14 when the Beatles came out, and I started, like everybody else, you know, was hit with Beatlemania and just started playing a lot of John Lennon out on the streets of Manhattan at the age of 16, 17 years old. Left home as soon as I graduated from high school, and played, I guess I was in Manhattan for maybe a little bit more than a year. I got tired of it real quick, and then I went back out to Long Island and got my first job in a cabinet shop doing woodwork, which is what I always loved also as a child, and wound up taking that on as a career for 40 years. And somewhere in the course of that time, I'd say like the late 70s, I met Buddy Miller on Long Island. He was coming into town playing in our little town, Fort Jefferson, Long Island, with his band called St. Elmo's Fire. That was the name of his band back then. And we got to know each other because he was playing in a club that I used to go to quite a bit anyway, because they had a lot of good bands there. So once Buddy had heard me sing, he decided to invite me out to Austin, Texas. And I went out there and fronted his band out in Austin, Texas for, again, only about a year. And I got tired of that pretty quick, and then I went back to Long Island and got married.
And of course, after the TV crew experience, Buddy got involved with the album.
Yeah, I hadn't seen Buddy for a lot of years, and you know, that's the way that happened is Will Kimbrough was a producer of that first record, and Will knew Buddy quite well. So Will gives Buddy a call, just out of clear blue sky there, and he said to Buddy on the phone, "Buddy, I got this guy, Doug Seegers. You might want to come down and give him a listen." And Buddy's first response was, I don't really have a lot of time right now. I'd like to, but I'm going to have to pass. And then Will says, he says he used to call himself Duke the Drifter. And once Buddy heard that, because Buddy didn't know me as Doug Seegers, because back then I played under a stage name, So once Buddy heard Duke the Drifter, he's like, oh my God, I'll be right down. I hadn't seen Buddy for 20 years, So it was fantastic. He came down. Buddy came with Julie, another girl from Austin, Texas that he was going out with. And they came down to the studio. He brought a picture from back in the days.
And of course, Buddy has had a great career. I think I saw him play with Robert Plant and play with Alison Krauss. Was he the instigator of Emmylou Harris being on that first album?
Buddy told me, Buddy was giving me a ride back home to my house in Nashville one day, and he said, Doug, I just want you to know something. I've never asked Emmylou for any favors before. He said, this is the first time I've asked her to do this for you. What can I say? Well, thank you so much, And then Emmylou gives me a call a short while later. I'm on the way to the library, and she calls me on my cell phone, and she says, hi Doug, it's Emmylou, and I'm going to be helping you out on that song. I think it's really nice that you're doing that. I just started crying. I loved, because I was listening to Graham Parsons from back in the Flying Burrito Brothers days. So when Graham and Emmylou started doing stuff together, I was one of the first guys that was really hooked on their music. It was a big inspiration for me, Graham was.
And tell me about the songwriting. If we come back to the new album that's coming out, I mean, for many of us, it's our first experience of your music.
Yeah.
And there's a number of themes. Some of it goes back to the hard times, Poor Side of Town, Angel from a Broken Home, 6 Feet Under. But then you have kind of fun times, the Rockabilly Bug, for example. So is this kind of the opening of a new door to kind of a more uplifting, more contented Doug? Or?
I always want to find new doors to open, and when I got the opportunity to, the thing that inspired me to write that Rockabilly song is because I have a real love for my Swedish fans. And I never really had any of them get angry at me until that one time when that one young lady walked up and said, Doug, you're not playing any rockabilly music. What's the problem? And I was like, I felt so bad. Oh my God, I have a fan that's not happy with my music. What am I going to do? I got to take care of this as soon as possible. I told her, I said, sweetheart, I will take care of that as soon as I can.
Any chance you could give us a little bit of that?
Rockabilly Bug, sure.
Yeah. So it's great to see that different side to you, because you've got a wonderful melancholy voice.
Well, you know, the Stray Cats were from my neighborhood of Long Island. So I heard those guys when they first came out. You know, they had a couple of really monster hits. So I always liked Rockabilly. I wasn't really confronted with a lot of Rockabilly. It was, for me, it was more Hank Williams as a child, you know. And then when the Beatles came out, the Beatles, I think, did a little, they touched on Rockabilly a little bit, you know.
That's right, yeah.
A little bit. They've done a. But the thing about the Beatles, they've been my biggest inspiration, only for the fact that they've had so much variety in their music, in their records. Every record was different from the last, and so that's my Beatle inspiration. Is I want to be able to keep going, you know, opening new doors. You know?
And on the album, there's a couple of covers, including White Line, the first song on the album.
Yeah.
So tell us about White Line and maybe give us a little bit of that.
White Line was a song that I heard by an artist named Jonathan Edwards, which was also back in the early '80s. Jonathan Edwards was also one of the original pioneers of country rock music around the same time as Graham Parsons. And when we heard some of the Jonathan Edwards country stuff, we fell in love with a lot of his music. I played a lot of his stuff in the early days. And The White Line is a song I've been playing for probably 30, 35 years. Always been one of my very favorite songs. So when it come time to doing the record, I think I played the song one time for my manager. And he said, "You got to do that. You got to put that song on the record." And I said, "Yeah, sure, why not?"
So can we hear a little bit of
Yes,
that?
of course. I'm wrestling with a cold right now, so we're trying to...
Sounds more authentic.
I'm trying to do the best I can right now. Thank you.
And the closing track of the album is "Life is a Mystery." Is that still how you feel? I mean, it's been quite a ride.
I wrote that song about a girl that I was seeing a couple of years back, actually, and she was... she had a lot of uncertainties about whether or not she wanted to get involved in a relationship with me, and that's pretty much what inspired that song. Because, you know, one day she'd feel one way, and the next day she'd feel another way, and then she wound up seeing another band, and a lot of changes. You know, a lot of things that didn't go my way with that relationship. It was not too long ago either. It was about 3 years ago. But I was head over heels in love with her, and she wasn't with me. And, you know, I figured I figured my fame might you know, the fact that I was so popular, I figured for sure this is going to help me out with this relationship.
Yeah.
You know, I must, you know. It didn't.
It helped you write a great song, though.
Yeah. Well, heartache always helps you write a great song, right?
Yeah, well, as you mentioned Hank Williams, because I think a while back you did a Hank Williams
we did
cover
have
albums.
tribute record.
Yeah,
that was a lot of fun. For me, that was just that was a pretty much a greedy move on my part, because I just wanted to do something for the Hank fans out there, you know. I've been always true to his music, played his stuff all my life.
Yeah. So if you think about the live shows, because we'd really like to see you come over here and play some live shows.
Yeah, I'd love to.
So Beatles songs, Hank songs. What else do you think you might have up your sleeve?
I've been getting into rhythm and blues lately, so I'm trying to come up with a blend of country meets rhythm and blues, which could be really pretty in my opinion. You know? Yeah, I don't know that a lot of that's been done yet. You know, I mean, I was really deeply moved by Amy Winehouse. And she had an incredible, I use the word fusion a lot because I have the most admiration for artists that fuse different styles together. And that's what she did. And that's why she was so popular. You know, she was fusing rhythm and blues with the old Shangri-Las and all those old early rock songs. And then she had a little touch of all these little things going on at the same time, and she was an incredible singer. Just you know, just a free flow, never hit a sour note. You know.
That's right.
And she was wonderful.
I think that's what I like about your voice. It's not a traditional country type voice. It has that bluesy element. I heard kind of touches of like Van Morrison in some of the songs as well.
I hope so. I think Graham was trying to do that too, you know. He actually took an old Aretha Franklin song from way back in the days of I believe he recorded the song called Do Right Woman when he was still in the Flying Wheel Brothers. And that was an old slow R&B song, you know. Nothing to do with country music. Neil Young took a Don Gibson song and totally changed it. It's fun, you know, when you do different approaches to music. So it makes it exciting.
So just to remind everyone, the album is A Story I've Got to Tell, and you've had some great stories to tell, and we look forward to you coming and playing again live. Hopefully do a tour over here. Now, I know that there was a single that came out a couple of months ago, Demon Seed, so maybe we could close off with that. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
I'd love to. I'm heading for the darkest side of town. I know she's probably out there acting crazy, looking for that drug to calm her down. Has anybody out there seen my baby? The wounded one with the dark sun tonight. I know you're probably out there with some stranger, doing nasty things to get high. I woke up tonight to find my baby running with the full moon after me. I gotta rescue my baby from this crazy world, killing all the bit of demon seed for you there.
Seegers, thank you very much. We look forward to seeing you very soon.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.